In 1998, a brutal storm swept through Orange County, and one of the buildings hit hardest was the 40 Martyrs Armenian Apostolic Church, a place that had become a cultural home base for a growing immigrant community. When the church's leaders filed an insurance claim, they were denied. And that's when we stepped in and examined nearly 5,000 days worth of weather patterns just to show what their insurance got wrong. I'm gonna tell you how we did that, but first, I'm Alex from Allied Public Adjusters. We have over 27 years of experience helping property owners get 9.5 times more on average from their insurance claims. And in this video, you're gonna hear about one of our earliest landmark cases, and hopefully you'll pick up a few things along the way. We're gonna answer these 3 questions. What steps did we take to push back against this insurance claim? How detailed did we have to be during the claim? And how much was paid out once the claim was closed? So let's get into it. In 1997, Allied Public Adjusters was founded by this man, Harac Gazarian.
Worked very, very closely with insurance companies, saw some things I didn't like, and I decided I'm gonna help lots of people.
Despite Harac's goodwill, public adjusters kind of had a bad rap at the time.
Public adjusters had a reputation from the insurance company side of being worse than lawyers. Worse than lawyers? So I decided, okay, I'm gonna do public adjusting, but I'm gonna do it different.
So regardless of public opinion, Harac was still determined. But 10 months later, in February of 1998, a severe rainstorm swept through Orange County. During the storm, water had seeped into this church, the 40 Martyrs Armenian Apostolic Church. The water left damage almost everywhere, with dozens of water stains, peeling paint, chandeliers in need of rewiring, and deterioration to the pews and carpets. So the church did exactly what they were supposed to do. They filed a claim with their insurance company, Church Mutual Insurance. And yes, this is a company that primarily focuses on insuring churches. 40 Martyrs expected a straightforward process, like anyone would, but instead, their straightforward claim was denied. You see, most property insurance policies cover sudden and accidental damage, things like water loss from burst pipes or vandalism. What policies don't cover are faulty designs and construction defects. So, in the eyes of Church Mutual Insurance, the water that had seeped in was due to a construction defect, not just the storm. Their reasoning for the denial hinged on 2 key findings. 1, they claimed that a section of the roof hadn't been waterproofed when the building was initially built. 2, they also claimed that the windows weep holes, which are essentially gutters for your windows, were covered with stucco. This could mean that the water had no way to drain properly. So if the insurance company had expert evidence on their side, how do you even begin to push back? Well, this is where Harac got involved.
I happened to get married in that church, so it was kind of a personal thing for me. So the church approached me late 1998, and I looked at the loss and told them that I would investigate it.
So Harac began his investigation, but it was going to be challenging.
Their position was that it's a design defect. I asked, how do you explain if it's a design defect that it never leaked before this incident? But they didn't bother to ask for the building plans. I did. I got the building plans from the church, and we were able to show in this presentation, we were able to show that there's a waterproofing membrane installed underneath that stucco finish. That eliminated that argument.
But what about the weep holes? How exactly does one examine a dome towering high above the ground in a time before drones?
I went ahead and rented a lift with a bucket to go up and get close to the base of the dome to see what was going on.
And while some 60 feet in the air, Harac made a critical discovery. These things, rubber gaskets, seals meant to prevent water from entering the windows. The gaskets around the aluminum windows had been displaced or knocked out of where they were supposed to be. The displacement made small gaps where water could get in during the storm.
So I acknowledged their observation and conclusion that there was a defective installation at the base of the windows and the weep holes were covered. However, I argue that, but not for the window gasket displacement, water wouldn't have entered into those windows and we wouldn't have had this issue. So that while yes, there was a construction defect installation issue, the predominant cause was wind.
So Harach took his findings further. If the church had no history of leaks prior to February of 1998, that would suggest that the damage was indeed caused by the storm. But when these findings were presented to Church Mutual Insurance, they stood firm in their denial. And here's what's interesting. Despite Harach's new findings, Church Mutual actually had a new argument entirely for the original denial. So how can facts even matter if the other side keeps moving the goalposts? How thorough do you really need to be? Church Mutual's new reasoning for denying 40 Martyrs was strange. The way they saw it, since the church's construction in 1985, there hadn't been any other storm as strong as the one in February of 1998, and therefore, there was no way to know if these design flaws and construction defects would hold up in such extreme weather conditions. So Harach figures that by their logic, if he could prove that there actually had in fact been a stronger storm before this one that caused no damage, then that would prove that the 1998 storm was a sudden cause.
I decided, okay, I'm not a qualified, certified meteorologist. I'm going to hire one. So I contacted a certified meteorologist and I gave him the following assignment. The church was built in 1985. The loss occurred in February of 1998. So your assignment, Mr. Certified Meteorologist, is I want daily records from 1985, the date in 1985 when we got the certificate of occupancy, up until the date of loss, and tell me something. Have we had heavier rains since then or not?
So the meteorologist sent back hundreds of pages of weather data ranging from 1985 to 1998, almost 5,000 days worth. And in the meteorologist's findings was something surprising.
He found one rainstorm in 1993 where we had heavier rains and heavier winds, and the church did not experience any water intrusion.
On January 6, 1993, Orange County experienced a rainfall of 3.23 inches, even more than the 3.1 inches recorded on the date of the incident in question. And by total coincidence, January 6th just so happens to be the date that Armenians celebrate Christmas. So this finding was quite literally a Christmas miracle.
When we submitted all of this information to the insurance company, they had to do the right thing. They extended coverage and they paid the claim.
But how much did they pay? Church Mutual paid $125,000, equivalent to about $248,000 in today's money. For the 40 Martyrs Armenian Apostolic Church, this meant that they could repair the damage and continue serving their community. And for Harach Gazarian, it was a defining moment in his career.
It meant a lot to me as a community member because I was in the process of building a reputation, and this is the work that we put into building that reputation, and we've been doing it now for 28 years.
This case highlights the importance of thorough investigation and the value of challenging initial assumptions. It represents why it's important to vet the assertions of insurers and their consultants. But not all claims are this neat, like you can see in another claim we covered where USAA denied an 87-year-old veteran for months. Check it out if you want to learn just how unnecessarily dragged out these claims can get, and follow for more episodes of Insurance Exposed.